You might not know this, but I'm kind of old. Actually, really a lot older than most people who play The Sims. Certainly older than most people who try to make mods or videos. I'm sure you've heard of Gen Z or Gen X or Y or millennials or boomers or whatever. I don't know that I'm any of those. I think what I am is Gen TV. When I was born, there were just televisions. I've always had a television, and that's what I grew up with. There was no internet. There were no cell phones, tablets, streaming. There were no videos. There weren't even CDs, DVDs, even cassette players when I was born. I'm old. So I am Gen TV. So I decided to go back and visit my favorite television shows of all time. What I want to do is build the houses. You know, a lot of people have done these houses. This isn't anything new, and they're not going to look exactly like they did on the television show. I mean, that's impossible in The Sims. So let's start with I Dream of Jeannie. Now, if you've never seen the I Dream of Jeannie show, you've really missed out. It came out in the mid-60s. So the house is kind of suburban, mid-century modern, that style, which is very popular right now. And Jeannie, played by Barbara Eden, was absolutely beautiful. She was a genie. She had special powers. She lived in a bottle. So the story goes that Anthony Nelson was an astronaut, and he's far away from where he was supposed to be, so none of the NASA folks are there yet to pick him up. And what does he find? A bottle with a genie in it. Jeannie ends up going home with him, falling in love with him, and a lot of silly things happen. I loved that show. It was silly, it was fun, and it was magical. Believe it or not, you can find house plans for a lot of television show homes on the internet, and there's even a book. I actually own it and have had it for years. I got it when Sims 3 was out because I loved even building these television homes back in Sims 3. I don't think I ever built the I Dream of Jeannie house in Sims 3, so this is my first time doing it. So I pretty much just started out with this rectangle. I am building in Glimmerbrook because Jeannie is, after all, magical. So I thought that would kind of be appropriate to build it there, and I could make the Sims and make her a spellcaster, and it would be kind of cute. So the house is very suburban, so I'm not going to use the realm of magic doors and windows. They're kind of fanciful, fantasy looking, almost Hobbit style in a way to me. I'm just going to do this base game. Just base game. Well, I'll use from all packs, but I'm talking about doors and windows. Base game look to the front of the house, because when I looked at that picture, it was just very normal, you know, just a plain suburban house. It's really, I guess, 2 bedrooms, but I'm only going to make it 1 because Anthony Nelson really lived here alone. He was an astronaut, so he had, you know, a decent amount of money, but not a lot. So he had just a nice small house. And I'm sorry if you're hearing any background noise. There's some machinery going on outside, some work or whatever, so occasionally you might hear that noise. Hopefully it's not too bad. So when you walk in the house, there's this nice foyer and the main bedroom, Anthony's bedroom, off to the right with a bathroom attached. There was also another half bath for the rest of the people, I guess guests or whatever, that came over to use, and it was near the foyer area. The kitchen is kind of right behind that, so when you walk in the foyer, if you turn right, it's the main bedroom, but left was that living dining area that kind of wrapped around to the kitchen. So I'm going to do that. Now, I couldn't really do the stairs like they were. They were right there, but it was interfering with the door a little bit. And I couldn't really get the door to the bathroom and the door to the bedroom just right. I don't know. It just looked kind of funny to me trying to fit those in. And the whole time I was building this, I was thinking, what am I going to do about Jeannie's bottle? Like, that's where she slept. That was her bedroom. It also kind of served as an everything room. I mean, she was magic. She could go in there and, you know, I don't know, do magic or whatever. But it really, when they showed it, it was just a bunch of, it was a round bottle looking thing, very vibrant colors, and like cushions and pillows everywhere. But they did kind of show him, you know, telling her to go in the bottle, and she would go in the bottle and she would sleep there because there was no other bed in the house. There is a second floor, but there's only one room up there, and he kind of used it like an office. And I guess he could have had maybe a Murphy bed or an extra bed up there for guests or something. It would have worked for that. But what I did here was just make it a really small office, and put some of the astronaut stuff up there and some skill building stuff up there. He did have that back porch area, but they didn't show it that much on the television show. So I did build it, but that wasn't a big feature of the home, although in The Sims it really kind of looks nice. So here I am trying to get the second floor, and I just decided to put it under the roof rather than make the whole house, you know, 2-story, because the front of the house just doesn't look like that. It just had that porch and that regular sloped roof, and it had the gable. So that would be perfect to get a window into that second floor bedroom or office space. And I kept having to replace those stairs because, I don't know, I just wasn't happy with where they were. So I'm going to get the roof fitted here, around that second floor, now that I kind of know the size that I want it, so that it doesn't clip, and when you're playing in that room upstairs, the roof isn't going to be in your way. It's really starting to take on a normal suburban look here, and I decided to make sure that that dormer area was nice and centered on the front of the house, as far as The Sims goes, so that it looks right. I wanted to make sure the proportions were good. So even though I'm trying to make it kind of look like it did on the television show, I also want it to be playable for Sims. Trying out some different windows here, sticking with those base game windows with shutters. And looking at the placement of the stairs, which really gave me a lot of trouble. Now, I'm not concerned with putting a bed on that second floor, so the stairs just kind of lead up in there, and I didn't put a door. So when you go up the stairs, you're just in that room. It's just going to be skill building stuff up there, for the Sims to use, so I'm not worried about closing it off. The house on the television show was mostly brick, kind of a red-orange brick. So I didn't want bricks that looked too nice. So I've got kind of an old brick color pictured right now, and the whole house wasn't that red-orange brick color. So I have just kind of a plain off-white style to the rest of it. Now I know it's supposed to have a mid-century modern look to it. The interior definitely did. The exterior, not as much. Put some siding on that second floor, and I went a little darker, as you can see, on the rest of the house, just so that it is differentiated from that siding. I didn't want it to be exactly the same. So our exterior is really starting to take good shape here. Definitely tell that it's the typical suburban home. Now they did have a garage, I think, but it wasn't a big part of the show. I don't really remember them using it much. And of course we don't have cars. So a driveway and garage really didn't fit here on this lot in Glimmerbrook, so I didn't worry about that. So I've got the house nice and centered on the lot. Now the foyer was a pretty peach color. So I was looking for some type of wallpaper here with maybe some white wood on the bottom, but couldn't find the exact peach color that I was looking for, so with the wood. So I just went for some paint. And his room was blue. So I just kind of stayed in that same plain family. And you can see I've got the plain doors in the house as well. I want it to look a little mid-century. The house did have carpet. That was very popular then, to have carpet everywhere. I've got plenty of space to put a utility room area and make the kitchen nice. And I thought these new cabinets from the new Home Chef Hustle Pack looked kind of modern. Maybe a little mid-century. They've got a neat vibe to them, so I decided to use them, but go kind of brown. At least that's what I'm thinking right now. Now, there was a dining room area that was visible from the living room. There was a half wall with some plastic stuff that kind of separated it, and with a bar area. But I decided not to do the half wall because I don't know. I thought this looked really neat to separate it this way with this opening, and I think it'll work a little bit better in The Sims, and that way I could make the bar a little more substantial with more cabinets to it. And there was plenty of room. And I've got those huge Eco Living, I think it is, sliding glass doors. They let in so much light. And there were sliding glass doors on both sides of that opening, just like that. And I didn't want to use the small one. These larger ones fit just perfectly there. Now, most of these kitchens did have a small table in them, so I was trying to fit that in. And there was a door over there on the side as well. It wasn't used a whole lot, again, on the TV show, but I wanted to have it there, and I decided to give him the rocket. So if you're playing, well, you'll see it later. I think I place it down later. So if you're playing and you actually create Anthony Nelson and have him join the astronaut career, that rocket ship fits out there perfectly. All right, what can we do about this living room area? It had a fireplace. I tried to kind of choose a modern fireplace. I really feel like we need a few more fireplaces in The Sims. A lot of the furniture of the time period was green. They called it avocado green. There were three main colors of the 70s, kind of late 60s, early 70s. You had avocado green, you had burnt orange, and you had harvest gold. Those were the big colors, and mostly you saw the green, although you did see the orange and gold kind of as accents. Even the appliances were those colors, the carpet, everything. And there were some crazy wallpapers back then, but I stuck with just kind of some plain wallpaper colors because I didn't want it to get too wild. I remember the walls being kind of plain. But I wanted this furniture to look a little more mid-century, so I picked out some kind of matchy-matchy things to use that still look mid-century. We need a little bit of color with these curtains. So I was trying to find some things that matched and also fit. And that table right there by that cased opening was important. That's where her bottle sat, on that table. So what was I going to do for a bottle? I thought about putting a vase there to kind of signify her bottle, but I couldn't really find one that looked like her bottle. So I don't know. I'll think about that later, and I just moved on to his bedroom. All right, again, I want some mid-century looking furniture. So I got some things that I thought looked pretty good. Now this room is nice and large. Plenty of room in here. We can have some seating. I'm trying to find something that looks nice that your Sims could also use. Alright, let's go back to the living area and see what I can do. I don't like all that clipping. Let's place some other little things around, some touches to the walls, some plants, some lamps, that kind of stuff. We need some decorations around so that it doesn't look so empty. And isn't this bar area just wonderful? They could get some coffee from there, give them that mixer, a dishwasher. We did have dishwashers in the 60s and 70s. Don't worry. They did exist. And a home this size most likely would have had one. I'm checking out the lighting. Give them a few things that look a little more modern. You saw the foyer a lot on the television show. People were constantly coming over to the house. There was a lot of going in and out. And then I thought of something. I'll give them a basement, and that will be Jeannie's room. It'll be her bottle. So I put some stairs behind the stairs that go upstairs, with a door so that it can be locked, so that only Jeannie can go down there. And I thought I would do a round basement. There you can see the area behind the stairs. It goes down. But you know what? Round walls in The Sims are so glitchy. So I gave up my idea of a round basement and made it square. Well, and then kind of angled on the sides. You'll see it in a little bit. I had so much fun building this house. It took me about 3.5 hours. And there's a very little cut out in this speed build. I apologize if it's a little long, but I really didn't cut out much. Maybe the bathrooms? Bathrooms are bathrooms. That gets a little dull. I never did find anything for him to sit on over there, and I just felt like having some kind of seat over there would be so cute. But these two-seaters, I kind of thought, gosh, we need more that looks modern. But I think I finally found one. And I guess I didn't cut out much from the bathrooms. His bathroom is blue. I just made it the same color as his bedroom. And then that half bath there off of the foyer, I just made the same color as the foyer. Why not? Now this patio was a nice seating area, you know, to sit kind of all around the edge, but also a little dining area and a place for the barbecue grill so that he could do some cooking out, you know, with friends. He was kind of a bachelor, you know, handsome astronaut. A lot of women, you know, liked him in the show. He was kind of popular. He's a little bit debonair, and Jeannie would often get jealous and kind of interfere and mess up his life a little bit, and it was always funny. And he was always trying to keep her existence a secret. Later on, after a few seasons, he introduced her like his fiance or something, and she was supposed to be like normal and not be magical. So at that point, they didn't keep her existence secret, but just her magical abilities secret. She had this neat way of crossing her arms and doing her head forward and blinking her eyes, and that was when she was creating magic. It was a neat little move. I'm not sure who came up with it, if Barbara Eden kind of invented it or if it was producers or directors or something, but it kind of became her signature move. Got a little bit of landscaping. He didn't have anything really fancy, just a lot of bushes around. And let's take a look at the second floor here. I wanted to just put some science-y things and a desk up here, some things that an astronaut might have, or a scientist. So he's got this desk that almost looks like mission control, in Houston. And I wanted to find some mid-century things. So I thought about that record player. When the show came out, that's all you had. You had to play records, vinyls, or whatever you call them now. There were no 8-tracks. There were no cassettes. There were certainly no CDs or streaming. There was no internet. No such thing as a video game. There was television. And the government had computers. I thought the cot might be a nice addition. You could use this as kind of a second bedroom, but it's not very comfortable. But it did fit. So if you were playing with Sims here, you could have someone sleep there. And I thought that kind of UFO hanging light was kind of a neat touch. Do we need curtains up here? I don't know. We have curtains everywhere else in the house. Curtains were a thing. Everyone had curtains back then. Now here you can see Jeannie's bottle. So I want her to get to it not with stairs. I changed my mind on stairs and just gave her a ladder. But at the top there is a small little hallway with a door so that it is locked and only Jeannie can get down here. Now inside her bottle it was very colorful, a lot of pink and purple. And it was very lush, very extravagant, comfortable, very cushiony. But this does need to be a bedroom in The Sims. So I gave her a bed. And I decided, you know what? Let's just use all of this purple and gold and pink matchy-matchy stuff. I think it turned out so cute. There's really nothing for her to do down here except maybe read a book and sleep. Trying to look at that roof. Can I see that ceiling? I don't know. I mean, maybe just purple? The ceilings are hard. This is not a very large room. Should I give her a different wall color? I mean, this kind of glows. I don't know. Was her bottle really glowing? It was very pink and purple. I know that. Well, I think we're almost done. This home is on the gallery. If you search hashtag TVLand, you will find all of the homes that I am building in this series. This home, I Dream of Jeannie, is the first one. I hope you like it. Thank you for checking out my builds. Thank you so much for checking out my build. It's on the gallery. If you want to download, please give me that thumbs up and subscribe so that you'll know the next time I post. Maybe the next one I'll do, maybe some more magic. I'll see you next time.